Okay, we have started recording. Let's go ahead and start the event. Hey, everybody, happy Friday. It's me, Ethan, and we've also got Sakib. And it looks like we already have one member. We've got two members that have joined in our group. Hey, happy Friday, everybody. Um,
Happy Friday.
Fascinating things happening with Bitcoin this week. Hopefully some exciting moments for some of you. Hopefully you guys got some good trades in there. Um, and yeah, hope everybody's new year is starting off good and going in a good direction. Um, we had a kind of a thing happen with the SEC this week, Sakib,
Yeah.
and it kind of annoyed me to the extent I was
Mhm.
just like, we already know the decision has been made. Why don't they just come out and say it? And literally, I think 12 hours after I made that statement, they came out with the
They
official
and said it.
statement.
Yeah. It was funny how, like they said, like, only trust our Twitter account. Don't trust anyone that says that, the ETF is approved. And then they also came out saying that, like, always make sure your accounts are all 2FA enabled. And on their account wasn't 2FA enabled. They got SIM swapped, and their Twitter account tweeted that, the Bitcoin ETF was approved and it wasn't. They came back and retracted their statement, and they just look like an ass.
Now, can you explain to everybody out there what a SIM swap is? I know what a SIM swap is, and you know what a SIM swap is, but maybe the everyday person out here listening, it might sound like just technical mumbo
Sure,
jumbo, technical jargon, I
sure.
should say.
A SIM swap is basically when you have a two-factor authentication enabled through your phone. So you would get, to log into, let's say, your crypto exchange or to log into a website, you would need to put in a code that you get on your phone as a text message. And so what some of these hackers do is, if they know your phone number, they'll actually call, let's say, for example, T-Mobile. They'll call T-Mobile as you. They'll give them the number and they'll say, hey, I need a new SIM, and T-Mobile doesn't really verify, or it's not just T-Mobile, but a lot of these telecom
AT&T has
companies,
been guilty of it. Yeah.
yeah. So they don't really verify, and they actually get the hacker a new SIM, and then that hacker basically has access to all of your accounts, and that's basically what a SIM swap is.
Now, how is that different from like a SIM clone? Because can't you use someone's phone number to actually clone their SIM as well?
You could, but that would just look like it's their number. But then receiving that message when you're trying to log in with a 2FA, that wouldn't really happen with like a SIM clone. So with a SIM clone, you would be able, I mean, if someone's calling you, you'll see that, let's say you're getting a call from your mom or from your wife, but it's actually, someone that's cloning their phone number. So it
Okay.
looks like it's, yeah, someone that's trustworthy is calling you.
So basically, to get a SIM swap, you have to fool the phone company, right? You have to
Correct.
call the phone company and
Social.
say, yeah, you have to do social engineering. Say, hey, I lost my phone. I just got a new phone, and I need a SIM card so it can work again with my account. Now, if you do the SIM swap, wouldn't you also receive their messages and their phone calls and any other things that would be sent to their phone? Like it would basically go to two different phones?
No, because your SIM is disabled. Whenever they get the new
Oh,
SIM,
so in the process of doing this, you can know that you've been SIM swapped by the fact that your phone no longer is getting phone
yeah, of
service.
course.
So,
But then I guess maybe people don't notice it or
well, it might be one of those things where you just think you don't have a good signal or something, right?
yeah,
You could think, oh,
exactly.
the tower's down, or, I haven't gotten a phone call all morning. Maybe they're working on it. Like, it's not something that would be your first assumption, right?
Correct.
You wouldn't immediately go,
It's not
oh
obvious.
shit, I've been, SIM swapped. I need to call the phone company now. The first thing is, oh, maybe they're working on it. I'll give it an hour or two, but that's all it takes, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe I'll restart my phone, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
in that
yeah,
time,
well, especially, obviously, in order to orchestrate something like this, they would have to have everything like ready to go. So as soon as
yeah,
they got that SIM, they would just have everything, all the web pages, everything they could opened up so they could compromise as much as they could. Now, if they do a SIM swap, wouldn't they also have the ability to possibly change your password and things like that?
Oh, of course. Yeah. I mean, that's the first thing that they do is they change your password. So in case you notice it and you're trying to get back into your accounts,
You're already
you can't.
locked out. You're
You're already locked out.
already locked out. So, wow. So as you can see, well, here's the thing, right? So if you've got the technical prowess and the social engineering to do something like a SIM swap, wouldn't you also kind of have the ability to like see the inside information and like know that the decision has already been made? And like, do you think
Hmm.
the SIM swap was done in the blind, meaning they just put the information out there so they could take advantage of it, or they did the SIM swap, they found out the decision had already been made, and then they just went ahead and released it before, it was official? What are your thoughts?
I think they were just their security just wasn't up to par. I mean,
No, I'm
they
just saying,
didn't.
like, did the hackers do like the announcement in the blind, or did they do it knowing, like, factually, they got into their system, they compromised the system, they saw an email, a text message, whatever, that confirmed that it was approved, and then they just went ahead and announced it?
I think that's probably what happened is
Or did they just do it in the blind, saying, we don't care what the truth is, we're going to compromise this phone and we're going to say this because then we're going to take advantage of the market? Like, it's two
you
completely
saw
different
what happened in
strategies.
the market. Yeah, well, you saw what happened in the market. We had a spike up as soon
Yes.
as, it was announced,
Yes, there was a
a fake
mad
announcement.
dash, a rush here, and let me kind of remove some of the things I've got going on my screen. Um, for those of you who are live in the AMA, you're not going to be able to see my screen here, what I'm showing, but yeah, we can see very clearly. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in some more, so everybody in watching it later in the YouTube can see. Like, there was a huge spike, like a big price, a lot of price action happened. Hopefully, you guys can see that. And when the
More so than, yeah.
when the
I
official
was going to say
announcement came
more
out,
so than the official announcement.
no,
Yeah.
the official announcement, it went up to 49K, which is
Yeah.
quite impressive. But when the unofficial announcement came out, we did a spike all the way up to 48, something like that. So,
Yeah.
we got 1,000 more than when the official announcement came out. But very interesting times, very fascinating that this SIM swap happened, and it's a relatively easy hack, right, Sakib? Like, you
Yeah.
basically just have to convince someone at the phone company you are the true owner of this number or this phone, and that you've lost your phone or lost your SIM, and you need a new SIM card.
Exactly. And it's happened to like a lot of famous people are targeted. Sometimes their numbers are public. Like for example, Vitalik. I mean, he was SIM swapped. I mean, a lot of these influencers and famous people, they normally get SIM swapped. They're targeted.
Yeah, I know it's a popular thing to do in Europe. That's how they get like the celebrity nude photos and things like that.
Right.
Is well, they'll SIM swap and then they'll get access to their iCloud account,
iCloud.
and they'll get these we'll say naughty pictures, and that's
Yeah.
that's how they get leaked out. Naughty pictures and naughty videos. The celebs get SIM swapped. There's also something you can do where you can tell your phone company, I think I'm going to be a target for this. And
Hmm.
there's a special program that you can get involved with the phone company where they will lock down. Like, you'll have to go through
Yeah.
like extra steps and like a secret passcode and things like that before you can get issued a new SIM. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to expose who my carrier is or anything like that, but I've already done that with my carrier and locked things down because it's just so common. It's so prevalent,
And
as a
the other
vector.
thing that I would recommend is instead of tethering your phone to your as a two-factor authentication method, just use Google Authenticator. That's what I would recommend is
So instead of
instead
getting
of
the
using,
text authentication,
yeah,
use something like Authy.
Yes.
Okay.
Authy,
And
Google Authenticator.
how does that differ? I mean, if they've got a clone of your SIM, wouldn't Authy
Mm,
still sync up with it? Or oh, that's right, because
no, I
whenever I
mean,
get a new phone and I have to transfer it over, I have to give permission on my existing Authy app to enable the secondary one. And then when I enable the secondary one, my old phone says, you can't have two running at once, and this has been disabled or whatever. So yeah,
exactly. Don't use your phone as a two-factor authentication method.
well, use the app, the
Use the
authentication.
app. Use the Google Authenticator
Yeah,
or,
use
Authy.
the Google Authenticator app as your authenticator, and then things should be relatively good. Sakib, did you see the message that we just got from Orient PDUs?
I closed Telegram. I was getting a lot of messages, so I didn't
Okay.
want to sound
Yeah, it's,
them
it's
in, but
basically like, so can we give you guys an invoice? Chinese New Year
only
is going to
two
be
weeks.
in 2 weeks, right? Um, as you guys know, we had a lot of frustration with them. And, I basically said, I'm going to do everything I can to ensure that not only do they not get our business, but they lose other business. And I'm already in the works with that. Um, I'm already talking with other people. We've designed our own PDUs, our own custom made PDUs with another vendor, and they're far
Mhm.
superior. A little bit on the expensive side. I think if we can get some bulk orders in, which I'm working on right now, Sakib,
Yeah.
we can lower the price, we can lower the cost. But yeah, I'm gonna I'm gonna show these guys they messed with the wrong person.
Yeah.
you know,
They're,
you
they're
met
going to lose so much business to their competitor that they're going to be
well
like,
because we've created a superior product already,
Exactly.
and we're
Yeah,
promoting their competitor with a superior product, which means that those dollars are going to go towards the superior product and not towards their
exactly.
company. And yeah, I just I don't think they realized who they were messing with, but they
Yeah,
will feel it. And we already got confirmation from Sean. Sean is our contact at the new manufacturer that they are losing business.
of course.
Right, we already got confirmation from him, so we're going to do everything we can to help that along and expedite that whole process. As you guys know, I'm a man of my words. I'm actually a man of few words. But when I say I'm going to do something, you can pretty much consider it already done. So
Mhm.
I'm one of those guys. Like, I don't beat around the bush. Like, by the time I tell you it, it's pretty much already a fact.
Yeah.
So that being said, Sakib, what is your speculation? I mean, we'll kind of open this up into speculation territory while we're waiting for everybody to come in. Why do you think? I understand why everything went up when the news came out, but why do you think BTC price action is down right now?
Oh, I think we've hit some resistance areas, and
No,
we
I mean
need
it's
to test
the
support.
resistance is at 45.6. We're at 44.3 right now. Why are we're below the resistance? We're not even testing it right now.
I think we might have wicked into it, but I think that we need to create a base. So if we look at um,
Well,
previous bull
here's
runs
Sakib.
or
Let me help you out. I'm gonna share my screen here, and I'm gonna share it in the AMA so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, and that all looks good. Go live. All right. So Sakib, as you can see, yesterday we had a nice wick that went up above the resistance band. This red line is the resistance. But now we're well below the resistance. We're not even testing it. We did it, a test, I want to say a week and a half ago where we wicked into it. And then we've been testing it for the past few days up until the news, and then we broke out. But now we're below it. So what gives?
I mean, in my opinion, I think we just need to test our support and create the base so that we can launch again from there. But yeah, I mean, overall, obviously the ETF is very bullish, but in the short term,
So,
you'll usually have a buy the rumor, sell the news event,
mhm.
and that's kind of like everyone bought into Bitcoin because they're like, oh, ETF's coming, ETF's coming, ETF's coming, and that's kind of already priced in by the
so,
time that the ETF
so you're
comes
saying
out.
like this right here, just this short term where I drew this is the base that we're
Yeah,
testing now? Because we've tested
yeah.
it over and over and over and over again?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's kind of a short term buy the rumor, sell the news event, and then after that, we'll just continue the bull run.
I mean, I suppose if you put in vast amounts of money and you went from 40 to 49K, I mean that's a pretty big appreciation. Was that like maybe 30 or not 30%? Let's here, I've got tools.
Like
I can tell you
the
exactly.
buyers
That's
that
a 20%. So you're
yeah.
saying people just went in, made a quick 20% and got out? And that's what they're doing? They're
No,
just
I mean, I
liquidating?
think a lot of people, people that got in around, let's say, between 15 to 20K, they're already up, a good 2x, let's say.
And so you think they're all just liquidating out? Those are all weak hands?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's always good to test support. I mean, if you look at the previous bull runs, even when we have a parabolic phase, then we always come back down, test support before resuming the bull run. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
this bull run has a lot more to go. I think we're only maybe what 20-30% into it.
We're not,
But
yeah,
you
like,
know,
yeah, it's got a lot more. All right. So you think we're going to go back down and test the 40K region, which is
yeah,
what's been tested here, what's been defined as a support. And
and it'll be quick. I don't think it's going to be like a long
okay.
drawn out correction or anything like that.
So here's my thinking is I think sometime next week we're going to actually hit 50K or break 50K.
Yeah,
Because the ETFs, or they're not even like fully on the market yet. It's just
no,
the paperwork of saying okay, you can do this has been
yeah,
announced. Like there's still a process in order to
of course.
create these and to market these. And hey, Rebel, yeah, thanks for saying hi. There's still a whole process that has to go in now that they're actually available, that they have to be implemented into the system as an instrument, and then people will actually start buying and trading them and selling them and things like that. And so um, I think that's going to come around probably mid next week, maybe towards the end of
Hmm.
next week. And I think when that happens, that's when we're going to see us break this major resistance band between 46 and 48,000. And we're going to go significantly above it, just like previously here when we had the 29 5K and the 30K. We
Hmm.
shot this huge candle above it. I think we're going to see the same thing happen here, and then I think we're going to see a slow rise to a new all-time high.
Yeah, and that could happen before the halving, which is about four
I
months
think
away.
it will happen before the happening. I think we're going to see a slow and steady rise to a new all-time high before the happening.
And that's a first.
That is a first, but also these ETFs, they're first.
Of course. Yeah.
Um,
I mean, all these years in Bitcoin's history, it's been,
we've never
uh,
had trillions of dollars of institutional money pressuring the price of
yeah,
Bitcoin, and we now have that. All right, so
exactly.
you know ETF 101. What is an ETF? It's a paper version of an asset. It's an IOU. It's a check,
Yeah.
right? You use a
Hmm.
check in lieu of cash, right? You use an IOU in lieu of paying somebody back. It's a paper version of an asset without actually holding the tangible asset. Now, what makes this interesting is that Bitcoin itself is a finite asset, meaning there's only going to be 21 million ever made.
Hmm.
With the ETF, there's no restriction on how many ETFs can be made.
Yeah.
So, you know, if there's let's say a million, well, let's say there's double the ETFs out there than there are Bitcoin. And you got to also remember that 90% of the Bitcoin that will ever be produced, it's already been
It's already
mined.
out there.
And
Yeah.
60%, roughly 60% of that, we're not really sure if the holders of that coin or the wallets that hold that coin, people actually have access to those wallets. So,
Hmm.
let's just kind of make things easy and say the true available Bitcoin that can be used on the market for market purposes or can be held by individuals and used and transacted by individuals is half. All
Yeah.
right. So that
Let's say
brings us
30 to
to
50% of the supply. Yeah.
yeah. So that brings us to 10.5 million Bitcoin that can actually be ever used or transacted with. And let's say we have 40 million ETFs that represent one Bitcoin. Well, there that creates a problem because there's not enough real Bitcoin to match the amount of
Exactly.
paper IOUs out there.
And we know the same things happen with gold. Like, the amount of gold ETFs that are out there, if everyone tried to cash in their gold ETF, there's not enough physical gold in the world to cover all of it. So,
Okay. So they have this thing called fractional reserve, which allows them, to hold 10% of the Bitcoin, but then sell another
mhm,
90% beyond what they actually hold. And so what's going to happen is when people want to cash in these ETFs, they're going to want to get a slice of that Bitcoin that's held, but there's not going to be enough Bitcoin. So what's going to happen to the price of Bitcoin when you have a huge
the real
demand
Bitcoin. Yeah.
and a very small supply of the real Bitcoin? What happens? Does anybody know what happens in economics when you have a very, very small supply and a huge demand?
Of course, their price goes up.
Yeah, it forces the price go up. And this is the first time in Bitcoin's history that it's had trillion-dollar fund demands coming to a very small supply of it. So we anticipate the price of Bitcoin to like do face melting moves
Mhm.
because it's never had this kind of buy pressure to buy it previously. Previously, it's all been organic buying pressure where, through the economics of what we do, which is, buying, selling miners and Bitcoin mining and buying PDUs and shelves and infrastructure and things like that, it's had this very organic kind of commerce pressure to it. It's never had this high level Wall Street $1 trillion um,
Fund,
hedge
yeah.
funds and things like that pressure on it. And so this will definitely, I mean, I can't imagine any other way that it would not hyper increase the price of Bitcoin.
Well, and then you add the halvening on top of that.
Yeah, and then you had the halvening. So now you've having the future production supply, and you've like, I don't know, quintupled the buy pressure to it. So you've halved the supply, quintupled the buy. I mean, this is staging us to do, astronomical price movements. You guys are going to all be lucky, that you're holding the true Bitcoin because it will be coveted.
Yeah. Don't buy a Bitcoin ETF. Buy the real Bitcoin, store it offline in a hardware wallet that you have the private keys to.
Absolutely, because Wall Street will want that Bitcoin and they will pay you a very, very high premium to add your precious Bitcoin to their stash so they can sell more EFTs, right? Or
Exactly.
ETFs, sorry. So they can sell
Yeah.
more ETFs, right? Because they need to keep that reserve. Every little fraction of Bitcoin they add to that reserve, they can then sell more ETFs, right? So they want every
Exactly.
little tiny crypto dust they can possibly scavenge. And it's going to be up to us to be strong hands, right? And to not let go of our crypto, as tempting as it may be. We've got to really really hold if we want to get that maximum price, right?
Yeah.
If we sell out soon and we sell out early, you're not going to achieve that maximum price. It's going to be the strong hands, it's going to be the diamond hands that really really win because they can't conjure it up. They can't like create more out of thin air. It is what it is. Like there's an existing supply and then there's new supply and it cannot be manipulated or changed. Like they can't like De Beers did with diamonds. They can't monopolize it or any of those things. They can't do it. They can't do artificial price or anything like that. It's going to be buy pressure versus the scarce availability of the actual asset. um,
Yeah, and I mean, as an inflation hedge, I think, next year if we have rate cuts again coming, that it's I mean, people are just going to see Bitcoin as a store of value. I think more and more people are going to be in that camp and understand that Bitcoin is deflationary versus every other currency in the world, which is
Inflationary.
inflationary.
Inflationary. And yeah, so I'm very excited about the next 20 months ahead of us, guys. I think it's going to be the stuff of legends. This is going to be something you're going to be proud to tell your grandchildren. Like, yeah, I got in on this project and I was able to mine Bitcoin directly and get in my wallet before all these things went down. And like
Hmm.
it was dust. It was worth. I was making like a dollar, dollar 20, dollar 50 a day in the beginning, but now that's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you're going to be able to tell your grandkids some great stories from this. What's going on else other than this? I mean, Sakib, you and I have kind of been talking about this all week long, and I don't know, like I'm a little bit burnt out on it. I saw it coming a mile away, and called it, and everything pretty much is playing out exactly how I called it. I'm calling sometime next week we're going to break the 50K mark. We may break it and stay there. I'm hoping we're going to break it and then fall back on this support, this resistance.
Yeah.
So it's resistance going up, folks, and it's support coming down. So if we go above it, it becomes support. If we're below it, it's resistance. Um, and yeah, so everything else, let's see, got our hands on an S21 yet? No, we don't. And as we've explained many many times before, when a new miner comes to market, we have it go
Wait.
through a lot of our community first and get their feedback, and especially our engineers. We have them go through and do a tear down, and give us a full evaluation before we decide to sink our capital
Exactly.
in any kind of miner. And we did that with the S19K Pros, and they've been phenomenal, guys. The S19K
Yeah.
Pros have been really, really stable. We had a couple fans go out on the M50s. We bought those new fans. We're going to replace them tomorrow. Just because one fan goes out doesn't mean that the miner can't operate anymore. Fortunately, these were front fans that went out, so they should be really easy to replace. We're going to go to the farm tomorrow, replace those. And how many we have? We've got 3 now.
Oh yeah, we've got 3 fans that needs to be replaced,
Okay,
and we
but
bought some extra.
we've got 4 fans on hand, so we should be good to go with that. In some other news, I'd like to talk about what is it, Cobra mining or Cobra Tech mining? I can't.
Cobra mining, I think.
Okay, so
Cobra.
Cobra mining. You guys may have heard with what Roop is doing. Um, we spoke with landowners this week, and we should be signing contracts this evening after the AMA, Sakiv. If not, first thing
Yeah.
tomorrow. We've also got meetings with landowners tomorrow. Roop's project, or at least the initial part of his project, will be within walking distance of the Mineopoly project. It's literally like 2 plots over. And
Yeah.
yeah, we're really excited to get that started for him. Yeah. Is it Cobra X mining? Is that it? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Really
Cobra X mining. Yeah.
excited to get that started with him. He's also ordered miners, and we also, we've secured the orders. The orders are on their way. One is a pre-order, so we're waiting for the manufacturer to release those, and then the other ones we should be receiving in probably sometime next week. The order
Yeah.
that he just placed this
It's
week.
already. It's. I mean, we're already tracking the shipment, so it's
Yeah,
already.
so yeah,
It's
he's already got miners on the way. He's got land on the way. He's got power. We're the site that we're getting already has a 500 kVA transformer, so we just got to run, one of the legs of the power from the transformer into our electrical room, which we have to build out, and we're going to also build out his structure. Let's see, we've got his PDUs ordered. We've got his shelving. You just cleared his shelving. His shelving got delivered today, so all the shelves are there. Um, so yeah, everything is coming together for his project, guys. I'm really excited to tell you guys about that, and to just work with Roop and be a part of his project. And yeah, n- no, nothing, no hiccups or anything like that, Sakib, unless you've got something that you'd like to
No, I
say.
mean that's. I think things are just getting better and better, and it's good that that Roop ordered these miners before
Oh
the
yeah,
prices of
before the price
miners
action
went up.
really. Yeah, and that was another thing that.
Because we always try to control the controllables, and that's what we recommended to him is get the miners secured first,
Yeah,
and
we told
then
him, we'll keep them in our warehouse. I didn't say I'd keep them in the warehouse for like a year, but we'll keep them in there for like 90 days, 100 days, whatever. Um, let's see,
oh wow, it
100.
looks like he's almost sold out. 100
How many
NFTs
did
are
he
already
sell?
left.
He's only got 100 NFTs left. How many did he sell? Just out of curiosity, because I I don't say that Monopoly's a failure, but I mean, I don't think we kicked ass in any way, shape, or form.
I think it was the timing of the market. Like he got in like right when the bull run was, just beginning, and I think we started when we were like in the depths of the bear, and we ended like right around the end of the bear. 322 sold so far.
Oh wow! So he's got the potential to outdo our metrics. That's awesome, you
Yeah.
know. And ultimately, guys, that's what I wanted to do with Monopoly. I mean, I had these huge dreams of doing 50 megawatts at first, and then I washed it down to 5 megawatts, and then ultimately we ended up doing about a quarter of a megawatt, which is fine. But I think what's even more important is that I got you guys educated, like what's the real deal with mining, and how did these things, how should they actually really work, and how should legit people running a project, be able to execute things. And I think that in itself was a game changer. And it may
Yeah.
take some time. That's one of the reasons why we record all the AMAs and we put them in the
Hmm.
YouTube channel, because it'll take time, but slowly over time it'll be 50 followers, then 100, then thousands of people will then become aware of what is the real deal, like how should it really look, how
Right.
should it really operate, and become familiar and comfortable with that. And then hopefully they can make more educated, more informed decisions, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day it's not your fault that these projects are failing, because you don't know any better, right?
Hmm.
It's
I mean,
that.
you're trusting someone,
Yeah,
you're
it's that you're
trusting their
putting your
word.
trust in somebody who doesn't know what the heck they're doing, doesn't know what the heck they're talking about. And so we kind of wanted to put an end to that. And again, set the gold standard, of how these
Exactly.
projects should operate. And as far as I know, I don't think anybody's paying better than what we are. If they are, please let us know, because I'd love to kind of do the math and figure out how they're able to do that, um, at least in Bitcoin.
I mean, the only way that I can think of if someone is paying better is if they're taking new money and paying old.
Yeah, I mean that's the only way, and that eventually, any kind of Ponzi like that
Yeah.
eventually collapses. It comes to an end because they don't get enough new money in to pay the old, and then it all falls apart. Um, and we've seen that happen, many, 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 many times in the space, maybe too many times in the space. But we're not even doing that. We don't even care. People are like, "You're a competition to us," so we don't. It's like, dude, our project's over. It's done. It's
Yeah.
closed. It's finished. We're not competing with anybody now. We're just showing everybody by example how it should work. um, yeah, which kind of brings me to another topic. If you're gonna use me and my input, my feedback, and my wisdom to troll another project and to kind of like get a war between us, that is unacceptable behavior to me. First of all, I give you the words that I say and my wisdom in confidence, not for you to start and create trouble and stir shit. So if you're going to do that, I will quickly block you. I mean, you'll still get payouts or whatever, but your opportunity to talk to me, to be exposed to me. I'm a CEO of a multi-million-dollar international company, that I do business with, billion-dollar companies, and I don't need that kind of drama in my life. I don't want that kind of drama in my life. For your $500 or your $1,000 that you want to put in this project, it is not worth my time. It is not worth my energy. And if you want to waste it that way, that is on you. That is not going to be on me. You can call me a dick, you can call me an asshole, but in my opinion, you're in the wrong because you are disrespecting and devaluing my efforts and my energy, and I will not tolerate that. Right.
Yeah,
But
I mean, if
yeah,
if you're asking us about a project and we give you our honest opinion about it, then you come back to us and with statements like,
no,
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 they're
he was
legitimately.
literally taking my honest opinion. He was copy and pasting it to the other guy. The other guy was getting defensive, and then he was copy and pasting the other guys. He was literally like a referee between
Oh my
us two,
God.
like making a ping pong game going on. And I was like, no, this is not happening. You have lost your privilege to talk to me. You are blocked.
Yeah.
Because you guys, like, yeah, I'm not your staff. I don't work for you. I work for me, and I'm happy to share my knowledge and my wisdom. But if you want to just then reflect that to somebody else and create some kind of battle or troll war or some, nonsense like that, I'm not going to be any part of that.
Yeah. Especially when we've given you the advice that that is not possible or that's not legitimate in our
Yeah.
opinion. That
Yeah. And if you know what, if believe me or don't believe me, but don't start a war with a startup competitor and get some sort of drama, especially when they live like in my backyard.
yeah.
Like, use your brain, have some common sense, guys. Yeah. In the famous words of Homie the Clown in Living Color, Homie, don't play that.
We don't say that.
Right? Because yeah, homie, don't play that. You will not make a clown out of me, and anybody who does, you're going to be on my blacklist. You're
Yeah.
not going to be a person I respect or I'm going to be fond of. So yeah, now that we got that out of the way, Sakib and I also are doing meetups here in Dubai, and yesterday we just did our first meetup. It's the UAE mining meetup, and we were very surprised. We met another group of guys who are trying to get started here in the UAE and mining. They've already had some bad experiences with. I won't
Hmm.
say they're our competitors because are they really our competitors here if they're just hustlers that are lying and don't even know how to mine and are using others to do the
Well, they're
mining for them. Like, can we really call them a
yeah.
competitor? I mean, is that really competition?
No, because they're actually they're not the boots on the ground that are mining.
Yeah,
I mean, they're buying power at a rate that's, double the price of the person who's mining for them,
yeah.
and then reselling it,
For
from
another
double what
margin
they're.
on top of it, they're just a middleman. So, what would you say? Just like hustlers, just like local hustlers or whatever, swindlers.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, these guys already got hustled or swindled by local hustlers. Lucky for them, they figured out pretty quickly that they weren't legit or they weren't anything that they said they were. But they met us, and they were really impressed with what we were doing, and they're talking about moving a lot of their existing because they've already got existing deals going on here. They've got miners over here already mining, talking about moving a lot of that into us and into our organization. So we're really happy to do that. And again, one of the main reasons why we do what we do is to kind of correct all of
Hmm.
this these wrongdoings that are going on, not just in the NFT financial space, but also
In the mining.
directly in our industry in the mining space directly. All right, it looks like we've got about 15 minutes left before we sign off here, so I'm going to open up things to Q and A's. Does
Sure.
anybody have any
If anyone has,
questions? Yeah, about what's going on, how things are going. Um, Everything's going smoothly with you guys. One thing that I would like to point out is that we're now showing you guys how many kilowatt hours were actually used in the previous mining period and how much we had to take out of the current mining period to pay for the electrical bill of the previous mining period. So you guys can see that on the payout spreadsheet. Um, Other than that, there's not really anything to report or anything new or any changes.
yeah, you can see, the exact rate. You can see the exact number of kilowatt hours that were
Mm-hmm.
used last month, and that is all that's going to be on every month's payout sheet.
Yeah, going forward.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Dark Lord and Aaron are typing. Where can we see that? So if you go into
Yeah,
the
let me go here
payout sheet,
and I'll try to open that up. Monopoly, BTC payouts.
by the way, I just wanted to point something out. Like a lot of people are asking me, like, they haven't. Well, not a lot of people, but some people were like, I don't see my name on the list. And then I have to point out that, there's tabs on the bottom, and we have different tabs for each pay
Yeah,
period.
so
So always make
yeah,
sure you're on the latest tab.
yeah, all the different pay periods are here, and if you look here, we have a field here that says kilowatts used, and I'm going to zoom in real big for the YouTubers out there. You can see right here we have kilowatts used for December 2023, and we used 191,000 kilowatt hours. And the electrical bill at 191 kilowatt hours at 2 cents comes to $3,837.29.
Uh, that's phenomenal. I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean 191,000 kilowatt hours. Can anybody like you know what, Dark Lord, the thing is a cool UI and the website and all that stuff, that's gonna cost a lot of money that this project just, to be honest with you, didn't really raise. I mean, there's only like what, 80 of you total that are involved in the project? Sakib, what's
yeah.
the final
Yeah,
tally? It's like 80.
yeah, right now it's 63,
Or okay,
60,
63, right? So it's not even 100 people. And so we would spend,
68, sorry, my bad, 68.
we'd spend $15,000 to $20,000 just to create an interface for 68 people. And
Mhm.
it doesn't, I mean, if you guys want to pay it, I mean,
At
we
the
could
end,
put it up to a community vote. If the community wants to pay it out of your mining fees or whatever, we'll be happy to do that. But I mean, the spreadsheet seems to be working fine for everybody.
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's you know, getting the payment, getting the accurate payment, seeing all that the numbers are correct. That's
Yeah.
more important than having like a flashy UI, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I had the dream, I had a vision for a beautiful, flashy, interface that you guys could log in and you could do this. You could see how much you earned this period, how much you've earned total over the lifetime. You could see the value of your miners and see that appreciate or depreciate and all that stuff. A lot of beautiful, wonderful ideas. It's just, with 68 folks, it just wasn't enough people to get there. And it was the
Mhm.
membership money that was supposed to pay for that, and we just didn't get there. We just didn't reach the numbers, guys. But I mean, we're definitely earning enough, and with the price of Bitcoin going up and up and up, if the community wills it, then we will take it out of the Bitcoin earnings, and we'll build that interface for you guys, no problem.
We'll put it to a vote if you guys,
Yeah,
don't-
that's a good topic to put to vote. So let's put that to vote on Monday next week, and we'll let it run from Monday to Friday, and then the next AMA
sure.
we'll just tally how it goes. Um, but yeah, as you can see on here, 191,864. Let's get an idea of like what a residential. Who here knows how much they use in a month of residential electricity? Like, does anybody have any idea like how many kilowatt hours they use in a month? Maybe
It's about 800 to 1,000 kilowatt hours per month.
maybe somebody has a bill handy, and they can say.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, about 1,000 kilowatt hours per month.
All right, so around 1,000 kilowatt hours a month. So we use the equivalent of 191 homes worth of power. 100, we'll just round it up. 192 homes. So
Hmm.
like your entire neighborhood's worth of power, and we paid for your entire neighborhood's worth of power. It only cost $3,800. Every
Yep.
house in your whole freaking neighborhood, 192 houses, and it only costs $3,800 for the electricity. Isn't that kind of like when
That's
you put it in that perspective? Like, can you imagine like
mind
all
blowing.
the houses in your neighborhood using all the electricity for the month, and $3,800 pays for the whole neighborhood? That's pretty freaking amazing. Um,
Hmm.
and that's the power of having cheap power. Yeah. So like I said, like it's kind of hard to fathom these numbers until you kind of break it down into some sort of, I don't know, realistic real world experience that you've had, right? So we can say, oh, you got 2 cent power, and oh, you use this much power, but it's all just numbers until you break it down into something like that. 192 houses in your neighborhood, full month of power. The electric bill was just $3,800. All right.
3,000
Okay.
kilowatt.
Wow. So you are using the power, right? Do you live in a place like a cool climate? where you have to use like the heat pumps or something like that to warm your
Are
house?
you GPU mining?
Yeah. Yeah, the next question is, are you mining? All right. Well, technically, you are mining because you are part of the Monopoly project. So you can say yes
Yeah,
to that answer. If somebody ever asks you, "Are you mining Bitcoin?" you can proudly, all of you guys can, hold your heads up high and say, "Yes, I am." Um,
exactly.
right. Yeah. So I mean, yeah. I mean, just give. Can you give me an idea, Tasman, of what is 3,000 kilowatts? What's that electric bill look like for you?
Yeah, 40. His electric bill is
Okay,
higher than
4832.
ours.
Can you give us an idea? Okay, like it's over 500. Um, okay, so it's over 500. Would you say less than 1,000?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll say between 1,000 and 500. Um, so to put that in perspective, Sakib, can you take 190? Well, just 192,000 and divide it by 4,832.
Hmm.
All right, how many times does that go in?
39.73, almost 40.
Okay, so literally, we could supply you 40 months worth of power for 3,800 bucks.
Yeah,
For 3,800
he's paying
bucks,
about.
if you gave us 3,800 bucks at our power rate, we could power your home at 4832 for 40 months. Almost,
Hmm.
was it? That's like almost 4 years.
3 years. Yeah, 3 years and 4 months.
Yeah, so we could give you 3 years and 4 months worth of power for 3,800 bucks. Would you take it?
I'm sure he would.
Right. Yeah, I need to move there, I guess. Well, here it's always hot, so you would never have to. Like, for, I guess, 6 months out of the year, we barely pay anything in electrical costs because our
Yeah,
air conditioners don't run. But for the other 6 months, we pay,
no, yeah. It's
I'm paying
always on.
about 1,300 dirhams, 1,400 dirhams.
Yeah,
So
I'm about the
what does
same.
that come to in US dollars? That's like maybe 300 bucks.
1,400. Yeah, 381.
All right. So in the peak seasons, I'm paying about $381 in electricity a month. And then the off seasons, I'm paying like maybe 40, 50 bucks
Yeah,
tops.
yeah.
Tops. All right, guys. What's this? AC? No. Yeah, of course we've got AC, but we only need it for half of the year. I mean, if you look at my Google Nest right now, it's like it's struggling to stay 74 degrees in this villa because it gets to 68 degrees at night,
Hmm.
right? And so, like, by the morning time, I'm like cold. I'm like, oh crap, it's cold this morning. Like, but usually by the afternoons is when, I feel pretty comfortable, at least in the wintertime.
Oh my God. Digital Ninja's power cost is
Holy
48 cents
moly,
an hour.
48 cents. Oh my gosh. So at 48 cents
Europe.
a kilowatt hour, what would 192,000 kilowatts cost Digital Ninja? Can you do the math real quick for us, Sakib?
Yeah, I'm checking it out right now.
What would his
$92,000.
Yeah, so your electrical bill would be $92,000 at your cost. If we were to do the Monopoly operation at your power cost, it would be $92,000 a month for the electricity. It's a crazy
Well,
amount of money.
that's the other thing that you brought up that day, Ethan, that's really interesting is um, because our power cost is so low, even though there might be other mining farms that are larger, we get to keep more of our Bitcoin. So because of our power costs, like we
Yeah.
get to keep more Bitcoin
So
than them.
yeah, here's what I'm seeing happening, guys, is that it's going to remain profitable through the halvening, but after the halvening, these guys, they might have 10 megawatts, they might have 100 megawatts, but after they pay their electrical cost every month, they're just going to have crypto dust left in their wallets.
Mhm.
They're not going to. They're just going to barely. They might have 10,000 or 20,000 or whatever, which is nothing compared to, you know, the 100,000, $200,000 they paid in their electrical bills, right? And, you know, at the end of the day, after we pay our bill, I mean, we're going to have more in our wallet left than what they've got, right?
Exactly.
And so, like, that's going to be amazing up in itself. Uh,
Wish I had.
I don't know when Rope is coming again. He said something about maybe coming next month, Sakib.
Oh,
But you'll have to
okay.
correct me. I've got so many things, and that's a whole nother reason why I don't want to be like trolled by anybody. It's like that's so disrespectful of me
Yeah.
because I've got so many other things going on in my life, and for me to give you my time should not be treated
Mhm.
cheap. It should not be used or abused, you know, to create conflict or drama between another person. Because I am very zen. Like I'm very passionate about what I do, but I'm also very zen. Like I don't want any kind of drama.
We have a lot going on right now. We just can't afford distractions.
Absolutely, absolutely, and yeah, it's just really, really disrespectful to occupy, you know, my time and my energy for something just so trivial and childish is the only word I can say. Like it's just childish to be like that. Um, you know, grow up. You be an adult with me, and I'll be an adult with you. It's that simple, guys. Yeah, so it looks like we're coming to the closing of um, our AMA, and yes, we accept BTC to be moving a lot, but I think by mid next week, again, I'm going to stand fast that we're going to break the 50K, and our current resistance will then become our support that we can fall back on. And it's great seeing you guys. I'm always, you know, like when we first started doing AMAs, I think we only had like two or three people that would show up, but now it looks like,
Yeah.
you know, consistently, at least on my screen, it looks like the room is full.
Yeah,
And
the room, I mean, ever since we created the new Discord and we
mhm,
got, the people who are actually
yeah,
engaged with the project, everyone's attending the AMA.
it's
So,
it's really good, and I'm
thank you
just
guys.
always happy to see you guys every week. And for those of you on YouTube that are watching us, please feel free to go back in time. If this is the first of our videos that you've come across, please feel free to go back in time and see the progress and the evolution of our project, how it kind of started from the beginning to where it is today. And again, lots of things to learn, lots of interesting things to know. And I'd like to start maybe incorporating that into our future AMAs where, you know, we start bringing in especially like our products and our PDU designs and explaining, you know, why we're doing it this way and why we're doing things that way and why we decided to get 200 kilogram rated shelves instead of 100 kilogram rated shelves, and why are we deciding to lay miners on their side versus leaving them upright, and just all kinds of cool little nifty things. I'd love to share those things with you guys. Stay tuned. We are going to be building out Roop's facility, you know, any day now. I hope we can break ground as soon as possible. And when we do that, we want to document every single little thing about the process, all the way up to, you know, the mock-up of his shelves and ordering, you know, specific cable links to plug in the power wires so we don't have additional wires going anywhere. Just lots of cool things I want to share with you guys. I'm so excited. So please stay tuned. Please give us a like. Please share and all that marketing nonsense that, you know, like I've been disheartened with.
Like,
But yeah, you know, keep with us. Things are going to get more and more exciting and more interesting from here. And yeah, I hope you guys are having a great start to your new year. And yeah, see you guys next week, I guess.
have a great weekend, guys.